Knowing your menstrual cycle is important, but why? And how best can you keep track of your periods? I look to help understand all this and hopefully make us feel better prepared for that time of the month. Firstly, why should I keep track of my periods? Some of these reasons may seem very obvious, but then there are some which have hidden benefits that are easily overlooked. Well, because they're hidden unless we experience them, of course. Okay, before I am tempted to just blabber on, I'm in that sort of a phase today, here are my reasons. Number one, helps document the regularity or irregularity of your periods. Tracking the menstrual cycle makes it easier for when we need to see patterns with our cycle. With multiple conditions associated with periods such as PCOS, endometriosis, and adenomyosis, amongst others, it can be very helpful to know how regular or irregular our periods are. Number two, helps document the length of your periods. This may sound similar to the first point because it is and it isn't. The length of your actual period can vary, and it helps to understand if there is a gradual increase or decrease in the number of days that we bleed. For example, when my periods initially began, they would go on for 10 to 12 days. Now my average is 7 to 9 days. There was a time when my periods went on for 40 days. So all this information, when seeing my doctor, helped them to understand what was possibly going on. I once mentioned in an older blog post of mine how doctors need to see facts and numbers. They rarely connect with women speaking emotionally. So if you wish to know more about how to prepare for doctor's appointments, then you can check out the link of that blog post, which is called How to Prepare for Doctor's Appointments, in the description box. Number three, helps you to understand whether there is a pattern to the pain. So you're not just tracking the dates of your periods and its length, but you're also tracking when pain, nausea, bloating, mid-cycle spotting, migraines, energy levels, changes in appetite, and when various other symptoms begin and end. Sometimes supplements are given intermittently or for short spurts of time. I guess it means the same thing. For example, I take even evening primrose oil for when I go through phases of breast pain. I don't need to take this throughout the year, but when a pattern for this appears, it's easy for me to set reminders that evening primrose oil helps me. Number four, helps to know when ovulation will occur. It's important to have a fair idea of when you will ovulate because it can help to plan pregnancy or avoid it. You may also find an increase in white discharge during your ovulation. So anything out of the ordinary, such as a change in color, smell, quantity, and for how many days it can go on, can be noted in your period tracking app. Number five, understand the onset of your premenstrual syndrome, PMS. Premenstrual syndrome happens before your period begins. It's symptoms that affect us both physically and mentally, whether it's feeling bloated to feeling low and emotional or even experiencing odd food cravings. All feelings are valid and should be taken note of. How you feel not just physically but mentally too is important. Sometimes we don't realize that we're being driven by the effects of PMS. I have found that noting this makes a difference in my understanding of when PMS could hit me, which helps me warn those close to me of what I'm about to go through. I don't wish for someone to misunderstand my change in mood. Number six, changes in sex drive. Various health issues can cause a disruption in people's sex drive. Keeping track of this can be extremely beneficial if you're experiencing changes. Even symptoms like vaginal dryness and pain before, during, or after intercourse, all these things should be noted as this can give your doctors vital information. Number seven, tracking the effects of medication, hormone supplements, and the pill also. Gosh, my hair is irritating me today. Okay. So over time, you may find yourself having to take various hormonal supplements or the pill to regulate your periods or for other various reasons. And because of this, you may experience various changes in symptoms. For example, the pill can cause breast pain, especially if it's a high estrogen pill. This will allow you to relay this information back to your doctor, who can then adjust the type of pill you're on. Number 8, being well stocked with menstrual products. I'm one to get menstrual products in bulk so that I never run out. But it does eventually run out, right? And with all that goes on with my body and life in general, it can be easy to forget to restock. Which reminds me, I need to restock. So this is where setting reminders helps to keep me on top. And obviously, knowing my dates through a period tracker is what allows me to do that. It sounds quite basic, but you'd be surprised how many times I've had to give friends sanitary pads because they forget their periods are due. If, like me, you can't use menstrual cups and wish to know of environmentally friendly sanitary options, then you can check out my video on eco-friendly menstrual products. I'll link that in the description box as well. And if you wish to know why menstrual cups don't suit the conditions I have and whether you're in a similar boat, then I've done a video on it too. It's called Chronic Illnesses and Menstrual Cups. I'll link that again as well. Number 9, track how much you're bleeding. I don't know why I'm mentioning this at the end, but this, in my experience, is important. It's important to know how often you're needing to change your sanitary pad or empty out your menstrual cup. My periods began when I was 11. The bleeding was a lot. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. I would need to change my sanitary pad every 1 to 2 hours, use nighttime pads in the day, and wake up multiple times at night. Getting through school days would become quite a struggle with me bleeding through if I missed changing my pad in time. I found that by noting something like this down was quite beneficial for when I would see the gynecologist. For you, it may be the opposite. You may not bleed so much. Either way, it's good to have this information. It's very important. Okay, another important question. How can I keep track of my periods? It's a fair question, considering that's what this video is about. Mobile phones and applications on phones weren't really there when my periods began. So when I got my first phone, I was 16, which was a very long time ago. So since my period issues began right from my first period when I was 11, I got into the habit of writing everything that I've explained in all the points I've spoken about. Obviously, I've learned over time what I need to tell my gynecologist, but it all happened on bits of paper that eventually I had to get a diary to write in. It was easier to have everything in one place. As mobile phones came into my life, and as you know, our phones are almost always stuck to us, so whenever a symptom issue change was noticed, I type it in my notes section. And now I use a phone app to do all of this. I'll share the app I use, but if you use a different app which you have found works for you, then please let me know. I'd love to explore new recommended period tracking apps. The app I use is called My Calendar, and this is what it looks like. As you can see, it tells me my cycle length, my period length. It allows me to track my symptoms and even has the actual calendar format, which gives me an overall one-glance feel. So that's it from me for this video. But like I said earlier, if you have a period tracking method that you'd like to share, even if it's another app, then please do it in the comment section below. Please share such information. Also, please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you so much.